Hi, everybody. Welcome to Tea Time with Amy and Bev. What's up, girl? We're back
We're back, having a good day,
doing it again.
doing it again.
What's going on? What's happening?
There's been a lot going on. It just, as we're talking and stuff today, I'm recognizing, we always do our 12-month spread and stuff like that. I cannot believe we're in March, blown away by this. It seems like January and February were like a couple of days. That's what it seems like because I have not read my stuff. I may have read it one time, and I just looked at March today and I was like, wow. And we talk about like the fire horse and we talk about passions and stuff like that. And I feel like the fire horse is this year that we're in is lighting that passion, right? You I'm hearing a lot of conversations lately and I'm noticing that people are following their passions. People are doing more of the things they want to do. I'm actually being around more people that are doing making their own stuff and doing their own thing, making the foods and just there's so many things that are out there. Like when I go shopping now, I go into town and I find people that sell eggs that are from local farms. I go in and buy goat milk from local farms. I buy foods that are made outside of the grocery store that are made by people that I know they're not just being made by machines, they're being made with energy. They're being made with love. There's all the stuff that's changing, and you hear about all the stuff that's going on in the world, and it sounds like it's like, ooh, that could be such a bad place. But from my perspective, it's not a bad place. It's guiding us into a place. Into an empowering place, and it's guiding us into healthier foods. We can sit and talk about all the crap that's going on in the world and talk about the food in the United States and everything like that. But it's like it's up to us. Nobody is holding a gun to my head to go into the grocery store to pick up a bag of Doritos. It's not happening. And I'm just using Doritos as a reference. It could be anything. But the thing is, and you could make your own at home. That's the whole process. Like all these things are so possible. And if that's not something that you're inclined to do, there are so many people that we can get in contact that are inclined to do that and they're enjoying doing those things, making their own bread and selling it and stuff like that. So I feel like we're going to such a great time. We kind of talked in the last video that I said I was going to talk about this time a little bit, talking about judgment, talking about judgment. It doesn't matter if it's a good thing or a bad thing, or you're looking at something positively, or it feels good to you, or it doesn't feel good to you, but we're always creating. And it's when you're going to the grocery store, notice what catches your eye. When you're in groups of people, what does catch your eye? Are you noticing the girl's beautiful young skin? Are you noticing the handsome man? But what are you noticing about that handsome? It's because it's not about them, it's what they're mirroring to you that you can create because you're creating all the time. And all that is something in front of you. You could have a person, an elderly picture of a person, and you could have a picture of a very youth and vital person. And you could look at either one of those pictures. Which one are you drawn to? If you're drawn to the other one, it's like, what space are you creating from? And why are you creating from that space? Do you feel like this is part of the process of your life? So it's like we have such opportunity to recognize we're creating in every single moment, with every single thought, with every single emotion. We're always creating, always. And so it's recognizing where you're at when you're in your space, when you're judging. Because I think a lot of times I find myself more neutral in a lot of times these days. So then I know that I'm not being judging in any way, shape, or form. But I will catch myself judging. I might see if I'm at the gym or I'm watching a girl on TikTok or Instagram or anything and they're doing a workout and I really like their physique, I'm taking that in. I'm creating from that space. If I'm looking at an elderly person and I'm noticing every line on their face or the way their skin is, I'm taking that in as part of my experience. So it's just recognizing and it's not that we're doing anything right or wrong. It's just recognizing where is your attention going. And then that kind of lets you know where am I at right now? Like, oh, it goes along with what you were talking about last time and noticing these things that are kind of triggering us to get our attention that there's something a little bit off with it, off kilter. We're not in harmony with this or we're not neutral with it. It's just opportunities for growth. And I'm only sharing this so that you or anybody else listening to this, not you, but you, meaning the watcher, you're going to have an understanding about what you're creating from. What are you noticing when you're listening to Amy and I, or when you're looking at our faces? What are you noticing? What are you paying attention to? What are you creating from? How are you feeling right now? I had a conversation with someone the other day, and they were kind of caught up on a person and saying this person, well, I'm just done. That's it. And then talked about all the reasons why. And then I thought, well, how would this conversation have been if you didn't have an attachment to an outcome or an expectation from the other person? Like, how could things have been different? And it's just really paying attention because we have a desire within us or an expectation. And so it's just, I'm kind of going a little bit all over the place, but all these things are creating our experience. And it's to be aware of all these things, not in a negative way, but in a, I care about myself. I'm creating my life every single day, and I'm not going to live unconsciously. I'm going to live consciously.
Judgment's an interesting topic because there's so much involved with just that word. Typically when we say judging someone or something, it's typically a negative connotation to it. However, a positive thought about somebody is a judgment. So
Yeah.
just letting the audience know that when Bev's talking about creating from a space of judgment, are you looking at somebody through the eyes of admiration or inspiration, where what they're portraying to you and how you're perceiving it feels good, and you would like to incorporate that into your own being or in your own life? Then you're creating from that space of judgment. If you're looking at somebody and you're thinking they're a piece of shit, they can't stand them and all these things, well, then you're creating from that space of judgment, because however you're feeling within yourself, the emotional state that you're carrying, that is your point of attraction. That is the main point of attraction of your being, of manifesting, is emotion. And so in every not every, could be every, but for most of the day, whatever emotion you are putting out into the universe, because you have it within you, so that's a vibrational frequency you're putting out into to the people around you, to your office space, to the person in the store. You're putting that energy out there, and then that becomes what they say, whatever you put out, you're gonna get back. Some people will say, especially when it comes to money, tenfold, 100-fold, whatever you're putting out, you're gonna get it back. And so yeah, being mindful, what are your judgmental thoughts? Which avenue are they down? Does it feel good or not feel good? And then recognize or remember that that you will manifest stuff from that space, from that energetic space. Also, judgment is looking at other people and from a space of, again, going back to adoration or inspiration, good feeling thoughts. Recently, very recently, I'm in this year-long leadership class, and we're coming to the end of it. This class coming up is our last one. But they had a fill-in teacher to cover a topic, and I'm not exaggerating with you. When I'm listening to a speaker, I'm listening to their tone, I'm listening to the words they use, how they present themselves, the confidence they have. That's always been a thing for me, working on is confidence, like all these aspects of them. There are two teachers right now. This person was one, and I'm going to be honest, I'm thankful it was the one class that she taught, and that was it, not another one at this time. And then there's another teacher that I listen to frequently. The fill-in teacher, in 10 minutes, and this is not an exaggeration, because I needed to have this thing about me to keep track of how many times she said and in 10 minutes she said it 100 times. That, to me, when somebody is speaking for a long period of time, and they're saying that every other word or every breath or every pause, it's distracting, and I have difficulty even focusing on what they're even talking about. Every 3 words is So it breaks up whatever their point is, and it's distracting, and you'll lose me. Like, I'm done. Because I can't focus on anything else, because that's all I'm focused on now is you saying every other word. Like, it was just the whole thing. So then I have another teacher um who I listen to frequently, and because it's part of a group I'm in, and she says okay a lot. And it's sometimes comes across as, when you're talking to children and you're like, okay, now we're gonna pick up the toys, okay, and we're gonna put them in the toy box, and we gotta clean up, okay, that type. And I feel like, I'm not a child, you're trying to teach me something here, and I'm listening. I need direction, not to be talked like to like that, even though it's not directed at me. It's like a recorded class that she did, and she does, and all this. So in judgment, yes. Am I being judgmental? Yes, I am. Am I being critical? Yes, I am. And I take that information to help me be better.
Mhm.
What I recognize when I talk is I say so every frequently, not as much as I used to, but even in the last video, I was like, oh, there I went and said it again. Oh, I said it again. Um, but being mindful in myself is how I speak, how I talk, especially when I'm teaching, when there's a classroom full of people, being mindful of how I'm delivering my message in a way where they can hear it, and I'm not breaking it up with so, and these common words that we throw in there, because sometimes, and I know I've been through all these processes, like over the past 20 years of learning how to be in front of people and having that confidence. When you take a breath, it creates a pause, and there's silence, and it gets uncomfortable, so you got to fill it in. And so you fill it in with these filler words. So like so my there you see, I said so. So my point is not about speaking or these words. My point is, how are you using judgment to help you be better? Because that is the best use of your time, when you are in the presence of somebody, listening to them, looking at their body language, their appearance, how they hold themselves, what words do they use, are they making eye contact, or are they looking away and talking to you? I had one client, she would talk to me and she'd close her eyes every time she went to say something. She'd close her eyes and talk, and I'm like trying to make eye contact with her, but she would just start talking, just close her eyes, and or roll her eyes up in the back of her head while she's talking. Like, she could not make eye contact with you. And I thought, wow, isn't that interesting? So being mindful of that, how can you use what you're seeing in other people that you are judging to be better in yourself in the way you show up?
So it's like my mind's wanting to process all this stuff. So your experience with this person is she doesn't want to be seen. So then what within you doesn't want to be seen, right? And then you were talking about the other things, and I'm processing all this stuff because now I'm going a little bit different direction from what we've been talking about. But when we're listening to a speaker, or we're tuned into someone because we're tuned into them, how much are we picking up of their energy? So it would be uncomfortable if you're watching someone and she keeps saying because she's feeling wanting to have these filler words, and then I don't remember exactly what your word was that you said, but it was distracting you, or it was making you feel uncomfortable or whatever. And it's like, when we tune into that person, is this person uncomfortable being behind the
Oh,
camera again?
100%. She
But
was
so this is,
completely nervous, and I knew that, and I took that into heart. My brain and my ears could not get past her saying every three words. Just
yeah, but the energetic part of the whole thing, the energetic part would be that you would have tuned into this person, and now you're feeling how she's feeling, and it's uncomfortable.
Yeah.
That's kind of where my mind went off to, because it's how often, and that's the whole thing, to stay in our own power, right? I'm not saying I'm just processing this from like, how do I do, am I doing this in life and all this stuff? Because I think that I probably am. It's so easy to tune in to everybody else. And it's like, I'm not recognizing staying in my own power sometimes because I'll get pulled into some of this stuff too. And then I'll be like, okay, what's the process here? Like, what am I to be learning from this whole thing? So it's like, I'm just learning a lot as we're having this conversation today because I'm seeing that, yeah, I think we do really tune into the other person. And then we will notice all those things, right? Because it's uncomfortable right now. And maybe that's another way of, you know, like you said, taking it and looking at it as the mirror and saying, okay, what am I doing repetitively, or how can I change this and do better? And I understand all that stuff. I was just recognizing how easy it is that I think that we tune into another person, and now we're feeling a lot of their own emotions and feelings and not even recognizing it. So it's like, if they don't want to hear themselves, why would I want to hear them? Right? There's this whole conversation because I can go a whole nother direction. Remembering I used to hate listening to my voice, hated it. I did not like the sound of my voice. And I've had people that have come to me and they're like, oh, I tried to do this video and I can't stand the sound of my voice. And now I'm thinking, how would anybody have wanted to hear anything that I had to say if I can't even stand listening to my own voice? So we just kind of went a million all over the place on the boards, lots of stuff to think about. But yeah, because there's so many aspects of everything. And we're creating from all those spaces all the time,
Mm-hmm.
all of them.
And as you were talking about tuning into their energy, I think sometimes what came to me while you were talking is that we get tuned into somebody else's energy, and I'm not saying you do this. I'm speaking in generality that as a healer or an empath or an intuitive or anything like that, that we get tuned into somebody else's energy and then we want to fix it, or we want to, how can we shift this? Like we do want to contribute to the energy of what's happening for it to be better. And I get that. But maybe sometimes it's not about that. Sometimes it's, you need to see this person, you need to listen to this person, you need to watch this person, you need to observe this person so that you can take some information in and apply it to yourself, whether it's to be better in yourself, and shift them things, or it's maybe you're overbearing, overpowering, and you got to tone it down a little bit. Like, what can you do in watching other people or observing other people in shifting yourself? And as introverts can be like dynamic at this process, because that's my history, my background, my story of naturally defaulting to being an introvert. And we listen, we observe, we don't want to be seen, we don't want to talk to you, we want to stay in our little bubble and act like you can't see us, we want to do all those things. But in the meantime, we are watching, we are observing, we see you, we hear you, we feel you. But instead of getting drawn into all of that whole package of somebody else, it's like, oh, take a step back, how can I use the information for me?
Oh yeah, because it's all teaching moments. It's all like this whole learning. It's all new experiences. Do I like that? Do I not like that? Do I want to have that in my experience? That takes me back to Esther Hicks with Abraham Hicks. You know, it's like life's the menu. It's like, what do I want off the menu? Well, I like that, but I don't like that. So it's like, and then from there is where we want to put our attention. We want to put our attention to the thing that we don't like, or we want to create from the space that feels like we do like that stuff. We want to create from that space.
Yeah. and
It's fun.
and going into, that introverted space in a victim's, from a victim perspective of earlier in my years, it wasn't about, at the time, 20, 30 years ago, 30 plus, 20 plus years ago, actually, it wasn't about me observing people to see how I could be better. It was me observing people to see how I could fit in. How can I
Oh
be
yeah.
a chameleon with these people? How could I, what do they say? How do they act? What are their topics of interest? How can I bring that into me so I can fit in with them,
Mm-hmm.
which is the chameleon, the people
Yep.
pleaser. So Now it's a completely different story. And when I shifted my journey of, instead of people pleasing and wanting to be on this journey to fit in with you, now it's a journey of what are your interests so I can connect with you, so that we can develop a relationship, whether it's deep or surf, it doesn't matter to me. But it is not for me to get information on you, to follow you. I'm pulling back. I have pulled back quite a bit on being the follower and letting somebody else lead, because nobody can lead my life. I can. And if I put my life into somebody else's hands by following them, then I get the opportunity to blame them when everything goes wrong. Well, it's still a false story because it was still my decision. Pulling back to observe so I can see how I can connect with you is a different way of looking at it than how can I fit in with you.
Yeah. And I know that you just described it so well because that's something I had done my whole life, not even realizing it. And that, because that was safe. That was a safe place to enter in. It's like I always would describe it as telling someone it's like watching someone do double dutch, jump rope. And it's like you kind of see when it's the right time to come in. And that's how I always was.
Yep.
Always. And didn't realize that I was doing that. And then just the way you said it today really has impacted me a lot. I'm processing so many things right now about all the times and that I jumped into all that stuff, and also recognizing how I have also pulled back. I'm about my energy now, not about, and not from a, oh no, I'm not going to hang out with that person because my energy. It's from a different space. I'm more neutral about it. So I have the opportunity to grow from it instead of trying to resist it and push it all away, which we only know that brings it closer to you. So it's futile. Finding ways to enjoy the journey.
Yeah, exactly. Well, we just want to be mindful of our judgments and how we are contributing to that energy, and how are we using it to focus either externally or internally. What are you going to do with the information? We are information based people. You think about AI. AI operates off the information you give it. Nothing more, nothing less. This is important when it comes to AI. We are learning how to communicate by using those tools.
100%.
I think that is super amazing. And again, it's super amazing for an introvert. There are people, you have your creative people who um, they have that vision. They can describe things to it, like the veins on a leaf and what they look like. Like they are so detailed oriented in their vision. I am not. So leaning on AI to ask it how, to create something, and then getting more detailed and then more detailed and more, it's teaching me how to communicate. Now, I've been learning how to communicate for a while now because of the speaking and the teaching. Um, but AI is a super great tool in learning communication, in explaining what you want. And that's another keyword, right? You have to tell AI what you want. You have to know what you want. Even if it's just, this is the result I want. Excuse me, I don't know how to get there. Can you help me with this? Can you give me a layout? Can you give me a plan? Can you give me some guidance? Give me some steps. You got to figure out what you want. And the communication skills are super important. And the communication skills matter when you're communicating with yourself, because your communication with yourself is what's making you feel the way you feel. And the way you feel is what's creating your manifestation and attracting whatever it is you're focused on. So it's a whole process. Um, Use the tools as you will. It's up to you. It's your choice.
Yeah, I was just explaining to the grandkids, it's like it's a power. And people are going to use it for good, and people are going to use it for, maybe to harm somebody else or whatever. But it's just really up to us. And you just totally nailed it when you said it's teaching us communication, because it totally is. There's so many times, even in this conversation, that I was saying something will lose train of thought, and then I have to kind of bring myself back in to get back on topic again. And so it's being clear about those things, because you start communicating with AI that way, and it's like, okay, so what you're really trying to say is, and then it'll kind of break it down for you. So it really is helping with communication. It's not, that's what I mean. That's where the power comes from. When someone can say something like that and it takes away, it drops all the negativity, all the doubt, all the opposition to it just being a tool to help you learn how to communicate better, to help you be able to complete a sentence, to help you be able to have understanding, because it does have opportunities to explain things to you, to go into details, teaching a person how to go into details. We're sitting here talking, because I like to tune into energies. So before we had gotten to the topic of tuning, we tune into our teachers, we're actually picking up their energies. Well, that's why we would like to watch people that are millionaires. That's, are, talking about their experience and what they do. And because automatically we tune into that. We didn't have that experience beforehand. We didn't know what that felt like. And now all of a sudden we're tuning into it. So we're tuning in. It's just guiding us in this path to tune the tuner to where you want to what you want to be listening to, what you want to be feeling, what you want to be hearing, how you want life to be. And you just did that, just even by switching anything that might have been negative, possibly about AI, totally took it away, because it disempowered all the rest of the stuff, because it's simply just a tool, and it's helping us to communicate, because there's been such a separation from everybody sitting with their faces in their phones all the time, that this is almost like if we want to look at it that way, this is another way of it guiding us out. And this is making possibility for deeper and greater relationships, conversations, joy, feeling things on such a different level than we've ever felt things before, just because of AI creating communication.
And you could put something in. I use Chat GPT frequently, but you put something in one of your, whatever AI platform you're using, and tell it some of your judgmental thoughts and ask it, how can I turn this around? How could I see something different in this person? Or how could I focus differently on this person? How can I shift my mindset about this person based on my thoughts of what I'm having about them? And it'll tell you, it'll give you ideas. It'll come up with things that you wouldn't even have thought of on your own. Mastermind groups were created so that many minds could come together to help solve a problem or be creative, or create a new invention, or whatever the case may be, help you get unstuck. And that's what this is a tool. It's a tool. Your
It is, and
phone.
it's like AI is your mastermind group. I mean, it is
Yeah.
also your mastermind group. That's so freaking awesome. It's so true, though.
But we just want to remember not to lose the human aspects of it, of communicating with people, because ultimately that's, if power goes out, your AI tool is gone. The people are still going to
Well,
be around you. So we kind of choose wisely on what you're depending on heavily for, um in it, for interaction. How's that?
yeah. And I like to use it for like the internal guidance, because I do a lot. I mean, I have used it a lot. If I was struggling with something and I wanted to create a burning ceremony, I would ask AI, like, here, kind of like what you said with the judgment. I would say, this is what I'm feeling. I want to release these things. And since then I've actually gravitated, because we've had conversations and spirit has guided it that way, I feel like, to the tapping, because tapping has been freaking so phenomenally beneficial. After we've had conversations, I listened to a tapping, and I was even doing it driving down the dirt road, and I'm doing the tapping and I'm listening to this thing, and I think I was releasing, it was like letting go of control. And I'm like, letting go of control. I have never felt so more free in my life. And it was palpable. I could feel it. I could feel that whole, like, relief from something I've been carrying. And it's from a victim standpoint, something I've been carrying, but from a computer standpoint, it's something that was just input that no longer serves me. It just doesn't do it for me. It's not bringing anything satisfying to me at all. So it's just all of this stuff has just guided me within, and I use it when I receive information within. Like, I'm struggling with something, I might reach out to use AI for that information, but not to stay with it, because, like you said, it's something that's outside of us. But we do have all this information inside of us, And this is helping us also learn how to listen and hear at the same time, and which guides us all back into self. So it's, to me, it's like the template or the guidance that we're receiving from AI, which isn't really AI. It's just the next part of the process to help us all grow collectively.
Yeah. Just a tool. Your phone's a tool, your
Just the thing.
computer's a tool, your mouse is a tool, the microphone's a tool, the camera's a tool. Like it's a tool.
Yeah.
Don't make it more than it is. And yes, people are going to use it, like you said, for things that we don't agree with, and wouldn't be the first time. Just
No.
say it. People push it to the limits, and it's adrenaline, it's challenge, it's excitement, thrill. It's all the things for them, and that's why they do it. Power,
And all those,
control,
yeah. And all those things are so superficial. They're so short-lived because then you're always constantly chasing something else
and then
that
when I
everything.
so that is a judgment on them. So how can I turn that around? Well, I can use all of those same words in using AI to create my business. It's exciting, it's thrilling, it's challenging, it's it's all the things as well from a different perspective. So judgment is a great tool
Mm,
if you have enough awareness around it to utilize it in a way that's beneficial for you.
yeah. For your creation. You always know you're using it like you grab, okay, I'm going to go create something. I'm bringing my judgment out.
Yeah.
I'm going to go look at a bunch of different figures. I mean, I'm just using the body as a thing because it seems like I mean, I have spent time. I think I created myself this body in a lot of ways from all the stuff that I was exploring because I was in the bodybuilding community and always constantly exploring, but also visually taking this stuff in all the time, whether it was judgment, oh, I like that, I don't like that. Always creating because, like you said, everything's a
Yeah.
tool for the human experience to go have fun, have a blast, and recognize how those judgments can be your creative process.
Yep. Absolutely. All right, people. Got work to do.
Got awards to get.
Got work to do on yourself. So go judge somebody, but use it, turn it around to see how you can use that judgment for yourself and just make it a game. Really, you can just be, oh, dang, I just criticized that person in my head. What is it about there? Like go through all the things. What is it about them? All their tone, their facial expression, their body language, the way they dress, whatever it is, and then apply that to yourself. Do I like my tone? Do I like my body language? Do I feel confident? um am I sassy or am I compassionate? Like you just utilize the information to improve on your own well-being, on your own being. And as I say frequently is when you do and be better in yourself, then you just automatically show up and be and do better in the world. That's ultimately my goal on a daily basis, to the best of my ability in the moment. So we're going to leave that one there.
That's right.
With that, other people are having these conversations or thinking about these things as well. So just be resourceful, share us, share speakers, books, other podcasts, whatever it may be. It's very easy to hit a share button and or copy the link and send it to somebody and just say, hey, I think you might enjoy this, or this might be beneficial. You can find us on many platforms. We're on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, Spreaker, Spotify, Podcast Addict. And if you have any questions or comments, you can always put them in the comment box and we'll come back to them as soon as we can. We are human. We are living our lives, and we will answer or take in what your information or comment or question is and get back to you at our earliest convenience. So, any final words, Beth?
Make a magical week because we'll be
Absolutely. It's
seeing you real soon.
going to be what you make it. All right, friends. Thanks for hanging out with us. Tea Time with Amy and Bev. We'll see you next time.